And this home is absolute garbage.
That's the truth, man.
And we're gonna show you exactly what we mean. Before we do, I wanna tell you why. So you're thinking about moving to Atlanta, but you wanna avoid a bidding war, multiple offer situation, or you'd like to really, have equity in your home right when you move in, instant equity. I know what you're thinking, like there's no way you can get that in this market. I promise you can, and that's exactly what we're gonna cover in this video. So if you have any interest whatsoever in finding a deal in this market, avoiding bidding wars, having instant equity, then you're gonna wanna stick around for that, and we're gonna get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Atlanta, Georgia, or in this case, Alpharetta, well then subscribe below, ring the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the market here in Atlanta. My name's Denny. The team and I get calls each and every day from people just like you looking to make a move to Atlanta, and we absolutely love it. So whether you move in next week, next year, or anytime in between, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Be happy to help you make a smooth move to Atlanta. I'm here just next to downtown. This is like Alpharetta City Hall behind me, and right behind me over here, we call that the Rocky River. My wife and all my kids spent the weekend playing with some friends out there. Behind me, you have the entrance to the Alpha Loop. Those homes go from anywhere from $2 to $3 million mostly, maybe even close to 4. Back over here, we have east of Main across the street. Those townhomes are just under $1 million. Single family homes well over, $1.5 million and more. Some of those townhomes are almost $1.5 million. So that's just to give you an idea of the real estate around here. As I talked about in the intro, we're going to be talking about how you can avoid a bidding war, how you can avoid multiple offer situation, how you can have instant equity in your home. And I know that sounds crazy in this marketplace, but bear with me for a moment. What we're going to show you is a home that is listed at just under $600,000. It's $599,900, and it's absolutely not worth it. But in that neighborhood, homes go for upwards of the high 6s to 700. So it's discounted slightly because it looks terrible. It's in terrible shape. It needs both like the roof and siding and some of the major expenses done, but it also just needs a full cosmetic overhaul and upgrade. And so before you kind of click off to another video or go somewhere else, maybe you're interested in investing, or maybe you're interested in instant equity in your home, or maybe you're interested in having your dream home that's exactly like you want it, or maybe you want equity in your home, but you just know that this market is crazy and those deals can't be had. And here's why I want you to check out this video, because oftentimes if you're shopping for homes that everybody else wants, well then you have to fight over them, right? But if you'll pick a home that's been on the market for a while, sometimes it's just because it was overpriced. In this case, it's because it needs to be renovated. There are consumer loans where for as little as 3.5%, 5% down, you can borrow 100% of the funds to acquire and renovate a home, and you can do that all before you move in. It's no different than a regular transaction. You just have to have a team, realtors like us, with contractors like we have connections with lenders who do these kind of loans, which we have, and we manage the whole process for you. All you get to do is the fun part, which is pick the paint coloring, pick the floor coloring, pick the tile, and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, you can get into a neighborhood or a home or an area that you otherwise might not be able to afford, or into a situation where you'd be fighting with other people. And so if you'll bear with me, even if you've never thought about renovating a home before, check this video out, and I promise you that if you choose to go down this route, that you're going to be well rewarded, and we will make it as smooth as possible. So let's take a look at this home. All right, so you're in for a treat today. There's a lot of talk about the market, how it's a crazy seller's market, and how, people are tripping over themselves to fight and fighting over homes. And it seems like when you're selling, you can get away with anything. Like if you just throw any turd on the market and put a sign in the yard, like it sells itself, right?
Basically, that's the idea.
Yeah, well, not today. You are in for a treat, because we're gonna show you exactly what not to do if you're selling your home and what not to buy, at least without some special plans.
Right.
If you're buying a home, because, hey, listen, if you're gonna sell a home in this market, yes, it's a seller's market, but you have to present a good product. And this home is absolute garbage.
That's the truth, man.
And we're gonna show you exactly what we mean. Before we do, I wanna tell you why. This neighborhood is an amazing neighborhood. And at one point, this home was an amazing home and someone loved it. But over the years, it's just kind of fallen apart and no one's taking care of it. And they're trying to sell it as if
it's in great shape.
If it's move-in ready and turnkey. It's not. But before we get into the home, I want Jeff to tell you really quick about the neighborhood and the location, because that's all the value at this point.
Correct. Yeah, this is a fantastic neighborhood here in South Forsyth. Schools are excellent, real close to shopping and dining at Halcyon, as well as the avenues, quick access to 400. This neighborhood is clearly in the high sixes, great architecture, great street appeal. As you drive in and out of this place, this is the kind of place, if you think of Alpharetta, that you think that's the neighborhood I want to live in.
For sure. So this one was built in 1997. It's 5 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms. It's just over 3,000 square feet, which puts it just under $200 a foot, which wouldn't be bad if it were in great shape, but it really needs a lot of work, and we want to show you exactly what we would do to it. And here's one of the things I want you to keep in mind, you may not know about yet, is that there's these little things called renovation loans. And there's a lot of fear around renovating homes, but as an investor and someone who's flipped a lot of homes, Jeff's renovated a lot of homes, both for ourselves and for our clients, there's some things that you can do to create instant equity and instant value in your home, even in this market. And so a renovation loan, just quite simply, is you get one loan just like you would if you were buying a home, but the bank actually finances the acquisition and the renovation, and they base the value of the home on what it will be when they're done, not what it is as it sits. So as it sits, this is not worth it. But we're gonna show you what we would do. We're gonna talk about what that would cost. We're gonna talk about what we would pay. We're gonna talk about the kind of value that you could create and all those things. So if you're curious as to what a really ugly house looks like in Alpharetta, or how you can potentially make it your dream home, then stay tuned, and I'm gonna turn it over to Jeff. So Jeff?
Perfect. If you come with me this way, let me show you a couple of things. First thing I want to talk about is driveway. Now we have 3 basic types of driveway, and this is gonna be really simple. Some go up, some go down, some stay flat. Preferable is flat, second would be up. The least desirable is down, because when it goes down, water flows to your house. As you can see, this one has a very serious, hey Denny, be careful, don't trip. This one's got a really serious downslope.
I needed that like 3 seconds earlier.
Okay, I tell you what, I'm gonna try and keep you from dying. Just to give you an idea.
I wanna illustrate the down driveway. So Jeff is like 6 foot what?
Okay, Denny, right now, wait. Right now, your feet are equal with my chin. So we've dropped 5.5 feet in 20 feet.
So here's the driveway we're talking about. No bueno.
So Denny, if you look down here at the bottom, you're also gonna see they've had to come and redo the garage. They still have water pooling. There's water that sits over here. It begins to rot. We're gonna have mosquitoes. There's no way to get this water out of here other than it evaporates. So every time it rains, we've got a problem here. The other thing that I wanna point out is this is a great product. This is called cedar shingles, and these have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. If you go to Cape Cod and find the most beautiful house you can, it's gonna have this stuff on it. It's a great product, unless you don't keep it stained or painted. It dries out, it splits, it cracks. And as you can see here and here, and all up and down here, and all around the top of this house, everywhere you look, we've got split siding. This is dry rot. This is a piece of wood that didn't have paint, and it eventually just got wet and it fell apart.
I don't know if you can see up there, but all of this is just in need of replacement. Everywhere, around the windows, above the garage. What's going on with that roof?
Yeah, can you come over here? If you can get up here on the porch and just take a shot straight up that roof. Can you see how all of the grit is coming off of there? And you can really start to see all of the black through the gray. What that tells us is this roof is at least 20 plus years old. And here in Alpharetta, we have so many trees that sometimes roofs can't dry out quickly enough. So if you buy a 30-year roof, in a yard that's full of trees like this, you're really only going to get about 18 to 20 years out of it before it's done and needs to be replaced.
So what's that roof going to cost?
Well, Denny, we're probably looking at $28,000 to $30,000 to replace this roof.
What about the shingles on the front?
Oh gosh, just to do the front face of the shingles, pull them off, restain them, you're probably talking about $28,000 to $30,000 just for the face.
And then we got to paint the house.
Yeah. So far on the outside. Does the soccer ball
come with it?
The soccer ball is an included amenity, and you know, Denny, I know you're the soccer guy, but you can see, you know, I'm the king.
Y'all, if only you could see me juggle.
So Denny,
all right, how about the balloon? Does that come with it?
The balloon is not. The owner said they're taking the balloon with them.
All right.
Yeah, unfortunately not included.
Hey, let's
go that way. Okay.
Yeah, let's just do the whole.
Again,
exterior.
With the water stuff, this lot has a hard time dealing with water. The reason there is nothing here, and you can actually see the tree roots, is every time it rains, we've got water coming through here. They should have put a French drain in here. There should be rock or something to slow it down, but you're always going to have an erosion problem. And one of the ways that you can tell if you have an erosion problem is when you get to a hard surface, the first thing you want to do is look and see if there's dirt. That dirt wasn't there when it was made. It flowed down here. And every time it rains, it's going to flow even more. On this side porch, it's still structurally sound, but again, it's just routine maintenance. And the cheapest part of routine maintenance is paint, but they have not kept paint on this for probably 10 to 12 years. That's great pressure treated lumber, but eventually it too will rot.
And some wood rot up on the chimney, which is kind of normal, but if you're going to go through the trouble to do hardy plank siding, you might as well do the trim too.
Right.
Those are some new AC units.
Denny, they are, but unfortunately this is something that we see a lot when people are trying to move a house quickly. There are great, good, and poor. They've got the least expensive HVAC systems on the market, and they've put them into this house.
So because they look new and they're pretty doesn't necessarily mean that...
That's exactly right.
That's the decision that you would have made if you owned the house.
Right. If you were buying this house, you would want a much better system. These are the systems people put in to solve a Band-Aid.
Awesome. Well, let's head on down.
Denny, the other thing I want you to notice as we're doing this is how much the lot is continuing to slope downhill. And this is going to become real apparent when we look at the back of the house. You can see how far it is from the roof line all the way to the bottom of the yard. So we have dropped about 30 feet from the driveway. It's a long, long way. This flagstone is great stuff, but again, because we've got so much water, all of this is starting to crack and split and move. So this is all going to have to be repointed before it's going to be safe to use again.
Can't hear it now, but we've heard quite a few. The lot actually goes all the way down there. It's a big lot. There's a lot of unused space back there, but there's also a road down there.
It's a pretty busy road. Hey, Denny, can you get a shot of this poison ivy that's growing across here? The reason I want you to get that...
Did you say don't touch that?
Don't touch that and don't put it in your mouth, Denny. The reason I wanted to show you that, and I'm gonna have to get down here to point, but do you see all of this mess that's on the back of the house? Yeah. That was all poison ivy. So they just let it go and it grew. And the problem with poison ivy or oak or any type of growing plant like that is it can destroy even hardy plank because it can get in behind, and as it grows it separates it, and that's what allows moisture to get in behind your siding. So the reason that this looks like such a train wreck back here is because they probably let ivy grow up the back of this house for about 20 years. Same story that we have on the front and the side decks. Structurally, they were probably fantastic when this house was built, but as you can see, they're beginning to rot and fall apart. We've got one of the side braces that's already come loose. And it's great to be able to be underneath, Denny, because you can see not only is this deck not up to code, but it's also beginning to fall apart. And sometimes it's hard to see the underside, but when you're 20 feet below the bottom, hey, do you hear that? Remember we were talking about the road noise?
Oh yeah, there's the truck.
It's real easy to see this when you got this much space up above your head.
Well, it's easier to overlook road noise when you have an amazing house.
Yes.
It's harder when the house isn't amazing.
That's absolutely true. Location, 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 and in Alpharetta, you are near roads.
And then looks like we've got some issues with this wall up here too.
Yeah, Denny, what you got is that's a displacement crack. It's running in a vertical. We never like to see vertical cracks because that means that the ground beneath it is shifted and it's pulling it apart. So that entire retaining wall is going to have to be replaced.
Awesome. Let's head on inside.
the screen's there in amenity. Denny, as you talked about, somebody loved this house. People have really enjoyed living here. There used to be a fire pit here.
I bet
You can
really
see
nice.
people really love this. This could be a great backyard. It just needs some help. Shopping bag full of rocks also comes with the house. Okay, Denny, when we go into a house like this, this is a house that was built over 20 years ago. So what we're looking for is, has it been updated? Has it been maintained? Does it have dated materials in it? And what's broken? So as we go through, we're going to start looking for those things together. So, Denny, this is a dated wall color. It is nice and bright, but right now these creams have been out of style for about 20 years. So this one is one that definitely is going to need paint. Even if the paint were in great shape, you want to paint it. But everywhere we're looking, we've got evidence that it needs to be retouched. So we're really looking at interior paint, trim, and the walls. You're probably talking about $25,000, $28,000 to paint the entire interior.
Okay.
Floors seem to be in fairly good shape, a little bit dated in the color. If you wanted to change the color to redo all the floors in here, it's going to cost you about $8,000 to $10,000.
Yeah, and I think it needs it. I mean, they look quite worn.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to see, I'm sure, but like we've got a really worn place here. Looks like somebody kept a rug or something.
Yeah. Some water stains.
Yeah. Okay, so we know we have a bathroom right up above us, and when you come in here, I'll be able to show you. But right here along this seam, and this is one of the things we always want to look for, is figure out where the bathrooms are upstairs and then look down below. That's evidence that at some point there was either a water leak or a tub overflowed, but this is an issue that has to be addressed, and it's something that the seller should have taken care of before they ever put it on the market. Yeah,
This was probably a little too early for 97, but maybe in the 2010-ish.
Yeah, this is Santa Cecilia granite. This was the #1 granite 2010 to 2012. So my guess is they probably did this kitchen somewhere in that time frame.
And this do not stand on, we showed you the bottom of it. Amazing though, like it's a nice little deck if it were structurally sound, and I could see a barbecue out there and nice table and chairs.
Denny, one of the things that you can tell it's an older kitchen, this is a standard depth fridge. What they have come up with since is called counter depth. You can get the exact same square footage inside, so same usable space, but this moves back 2.5 inches. So the front of this would be out here, and as you can see, it really feels like you're blocking as you're walking through your kitchen, and that's the way we solved that now. So this is another evidence that this has been like this for quite a while. Back here we have laundry room. One of the things about a floor plan like this is back then every house had the laundry room on the main level because they were afraid of water leaks. But with high efficiency washers now, there's almost no water in your washing machine to start off with. So if there's a way to move it upstairs, that's money that's really well spent.
With this being and this is just personal preference, I would personally rather have a mud room than a built-in.
Yeah, let's make it into a landing
office,
zone where
like
you can get some value.
Lockers, a seat,
Yep.
kids, all their stuff. Redo all that.
Yeah,
okay?
pull the tile all the way up to here.
Yeah, and make it part of that.
Make it wet. Let's head upstairs and then we'll go back down.
Okay, that's downstairs. We'll come back.
Denny, one of the things you notice about a house like this, and it's just little, but like this railing, it's big, it's solid, it's still firmly attached, and it's smooth as glass. That's one of the hallmarks of it originally being a very well-built home. So it's not that this wasn't a great home at one point, it just needs some taking care of. Obviously they had to replace carpet. Denny, this is what we call builder grade carpet. This is the least expensive carpet that you can buy. One of the tricks that people will do is put a nicer pad underneath it to make it feel like it's a better carpet, but it's only gonna last you about 3 years. Now again, to give you an idea of how far below the curb we are, we're on the 2nd floor and my feet are about 3 feet above the street.
Yeah.
Here again, nothing really bad wrong. It's just old. It's time for it to be freshened and updated. That tape joint's starting to come loose. Denny, the real tragedy in this one is in the bathroom. Let me show you what's going on in here. Sometimes people want to do something to update their bathroom, but they don't ask a professional. They just do what they like, which is fine while you live in a house. But when you're ready to put it on the market, you've got to move back and say, what is it that everybody wants? So this is a textured wallboard. It's actually plaster that you just smear on there, and it's supposed to make it look like stucco, but unfortunately they did a really poor job. Can you get right behind your head? You can see where they just use their fingers to slide down the wall.
Like they literally
literally just put their fingers and just slid it right down.
Terrible.
This was a drywall repair that should have been done, and instead of fixing it, they just mudded right over the top of it. So this strange pockmarky stuff goes through. Then they tried to jam a gigantic tub into a really small space.
But you can rip that out. You can do a freestanding tub. You can, I would leave all these walls, just go in with, get all this plaster off the wall, go in with new updated tile. You do have your own little water closet, which is nice. And the bedroom is large. The ceiling is high. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, again, proven floor plan. People love these kinds of houses.
The closet is huge. That is a huge closet.
Now, Denny, this is one of the bedrooms. It's not the master, but if you needed a teen suite, you wanted to have 2 or 3 kids in the same room.
Well, if you got as many as I do, you got to put them all in.
Oh, buddy, we can put half your children in this room. So this one does Jack and Jill. A little bit weird, again, with the builder grade carpet, but we should have stopped the carpet here because this is a wet area. So now we got water where we have carpet.
Which is never good.
Somewhere down the road, some small person is going to do this, and we're going to have a problem.
I'm familiar.
Yeah. So we walk back through here. We do have a nice wet area for the Jack and Jill. That's a great use of this gable. Otherwise, that would have just been lost space. But again, once we come into this wet area, now we've got carpet on the floor again, and it's going to be an issue somewhere down the road. Let's go down and look at the basement.
Let's check it out.
Okay, so a couple of things about basements. If you are watching this from somewhere else in the country, one of our hallmarks is we have great topography, which means it's really easy for us to put basements in. When we look at a basement, first thing we're doing is smell. Does it smell like there's heating and air conditioning down there, or does it smell musty and mildewy? Is it fully finished, or is it fully unfinished, or somewhere in the middle? And then to what level was it finished? Does it feel like the upstairs, or does it feel like Foreman's basement from that 70s show? So let's go take a look. They cut the concrete to try and make it look like tile, and they stained it, but they did a really poor job, and they didn't clean before they did so. So this could look beautiful, and polished concrete is a great alternative for a basement. Although you can hear the echo in the background because it's really hard. We're all hard surfaces. So if you've got 20 kids down here, you're going to hear it all the way up on the second floor. We alluded to this earlier. This was the HVAC replacement. This house has 2 brand new water heaters, but same story as the other.
Is there a light in there? Sorry. It's just not bright enough.
No, but hey, never fear.
We have backup lighting.
So these guys are the least expensive option. It's not that they're not great. They're just not as good as they could be. And this is how people who are trying to solve a problem put these in instead of what they would buy if they were actually going to live here. So come back this way. This is plumbed for some sort of wet area, but we've just got it sitting out here. Again, we're just kind of in that vein of, we started, but we didn't really finish it very well. This bathroom's just a mess. It's a hallway. It doesn't really function. It's not going to give you a lot of privacy. Did you catch that, buddy? We have visitors with us.
In some of my videos I've talked, let me get about the bugs. He was kicking a minute ago, but he's dead.
I was hoping he was going to move for you.
Yeah, he's dead.
Now, Denny, I wanted to come all the way back in here because this is really where you start to smell it. And this
Hold on, let me turn the nose on the camera.
Oh, can you turn on smell-o-vision? If you can get the smell-o-vision going, that'd be awesome. I can do that about 3 times, and then I'm going to start gagging because the smell of mildew down here is just overwhelming. And if you can see on the wall, see how discolored it is? There's a reason they've painted this floor, because there are water stains underneath this paint. And instead of solving the problem, once again, we just went with a Band-Aid. Just a small little room, utility. The nice thing about this is it makes a great study. It does have direct access. So again, this is one of those hallmarks of, this is a great floor plan. This could be a fantastic house. You just got to get it at the right time. You got to get it at the right price, and you got to use the right vehicle to take care of all the repairs.
Yeah, this floor plan though feels really choppy to me. It's almost like, am I going in the right direction?
It is a little bit chase the cheese.
And
wow, you're going to do it, aren't you?
At the risk of sounding inappropriate, what do those lights remind you of? Those fixtures. They're in the bathroom upstairs.
Beehive. They look like a beehive, maybe.
I don't like boobies for fixtures. I'm just saying. And they used them everywhere. Like literally, it's the only fixture in the whole house. So. All right, well, hopefully, if anything, you at least learned something, like maybe what not to do in this market, because this house has been sitting and it's gonna sit. Man, I have to catch my breath.
That's a big hill, buddy.
We just climbed the stairs and this mountain. I went hiking over the weekend. That was worse.
How's your calves? They burning?
My calves are good. But so here's what I want you to take from this. At 600, this is a no-go.
That's correct.
And no one's gonna buy it at that. Eventually, the owner, everyone will get frustrated and they'll take what they can get for it.
That's right.
Or if they can't sell it for what they owe, if they pulled money out and they owe too much, well, then the bank will take it back. And eventually it'll find an owner who hopefully will love it enough to give it a new lease on life. If it were me and I was an investor, I would want this for probably like 300. Because if it's gonna, I'm just ballparking, I haven't done a scope of work and detailed how much everything will cost, but let's say it'll take 200. I'd want to be in it for 5 and have it be at least worth 7 to make it worth investing, you know, $500,000 of your money and a year of your life to go through the process and the risk associated with it. But here's what I love about owner occupants. And this is what I would encourage you to do if you're looking at a house like this. If you're not an investor, well, you don't have the same profit motive. You don't have the expense of selling it when you're done renovating it. You're not trying to make money off of it. Yeah, you want some equity built into it and you want to make some money long term, but you're not trying to flip it. And so investors will be offering $300,000, maybe $350,000 for this. A homeowner could come in and legitimately pay $400,000 to $450,000, put about $200,000 into it. The conforming loan limits is $647,200 here in this area. So you could potentially pay $450,000, put $250,000 in it, have an absolute brand new, gorgeous, address all the issues that we talked about, put your fingerprint on it, have it low maintenance for years to come, look like it was built in 2022. Your family will love it. And in this neighborhood, it will easily fetch 700. It'll be at the top of the neighborhood, because the ones that fetch, you know, the mid 6s to high 6s, those are
average.
They're average homes. If you did a full renovation, you're talking $700,000 to $750,000 all day long. And so don't be scared of a renovation loan, but if you're gonna do it, you need a lender, a realtor, contractor, and the whole team to work together that understands and has experience with that, and we absolutely do. So if that's of interest to you, obviously, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, schedule a Zoom, send a carrier pigeon, like whatever is comfortable for you. We would love to be a resource. We appreciate you tuning in. We always appreciate all of our viewers and subscribers. If you haven't, subscribe below, ring the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in Atlanta. Jeff, any parting thoughts?
Yeah, this is a great house. And guys, we can find you houses like this all over North Atlanta. So if this is something you've always wanted to do, because a lot of people really want to just renovate a house and make it their own. We've got so many candidates that have just been sitting and sitting and sitting. If this sounds great, reach out. We'd love to help.
Yeah, I normally say whether you're moving next week or next year or anytime in between, give us a call.
Right away.
Absolutely, you should do that. But a project like this is going to be 6 to 9 months.
Every bit.
Yeah, this is not going to be just like buy it, move in next week. But there is, you know, a lot of benefit for doing that. So until we see you here in person, hopefully we'll see you on the next episode.
Sounds great.